The first presidential debate for 2024 seems to have opened Pandora's box. But I have a different myth that I want to present today as a framework for what happened in that debate and since that debate and what we are facing today. This is the Mayan Aztec myth of smoky mirror and feathered serpent, which I believe is the perfect narrative to understand the madness that has descended upon us. Not to mention that there are two forces that in this moment, in this Pachakuti, in this quantum leap of evolution, are again having a battle. Smoky mirror and feathered serpent are two forces, archetypal forces, that have been battling for leadership among humans for millennia. They are the darkness and the light of human evolution, of our leadership, of our wielding of power. And they help us to face our perception of power, strength, authority, success, and leadership. By helping us face, like mirrors, they become mirrors for us to see how we're wielding power, then they help us, they empower us to shift and to evolve in our use of power. And this in turn helps us to break free from our shackles, let's say, from our shackles of fear and domination. But wait a second. Aren't fear and domination kind of opposites? You may be thinking, right? Well, yes and no. Because in order for a tyrant or a bully to dominate us, they first have to scare the bejesus out of us. Let's watch a homemade reenactment from my shamanic perspective of how this actually happened in the first presidential debate of 2024. Here's the set. The win for the winner, the win is the leadership of our country. And we the people give the win. Here's we the people. Now enter smoky mirror. Oh, I am the best, I am the greatest, I am God, bow before me, blah, 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 blah. And now enters feathered serpent. Quietly, peacefully, with his feathers and his waves, and we will discover all of the meaning of that. And then we send feathered serpent, let's put feathered serpent here, love, for he has been doing a good job for us, right? Okay, so this is the setup. This is the beginning of the play, the reenactment we are doing here, right? So the play begins, and immediately feathered serpent starts sending his insults and his lies and his delusions and all the things that he keeps always sending. But suddenly there's something happening here different. It's not his usual ranting and raging and rambling. There is some kind of method here. we start seeing something different. And of course, for the serpent is affected by it, and we will explore for the serpent in the next video. But here, something different is happening. And then we realized, we're kind of like looking at it and getting scared and upset because there's something very different. But what we have not noticed is that another player is in the scene, invisible and unknown to us. And what this pattern is revealing is that there is a brilliant Machiavellian intelligence behind Smoky Mirror, that there is coaching here, that there is design and intention here. And because we do not see it, then what happens is that in our fear, we do not realize that this is a psychic war, and we are boom sent an arrow of perception, and this triggers our fear that is already mounting, and now it is us that start attacking. The serpent, get him out, he's incompetent. Yes, I see what you're saying, yes, and we weakened our leader, we weakened our position. And while all of this chaos is going on, Smoky Mirror sneaks to get the win. But what happens is that it is not he who really gets the win, is it? I mean, he does in a way, but you know what I'm saying? The bigger winner is the one behind everything. And it is big money, the real enemy. Or at least we have two enemies, you know what I'm saying? Smoky Mirror, and behind him, the oligarchy. So here we have now what has happened is that we reacted from our fear, and we gave our enemies the win because we fell into their perception that they painted with their design of this psychic attack. And this is what we need to see so that we can now turn it into an opportunity and not repeat the same mistake. Did we just made a mistake? Well, yes, the mistake was that we reacted from fear. But is this the right decision or the wrong decision? Did we just mess up the elections for democracy? We will explore these questions further down the journey. Hi, beautiful souls. I am Maria Ma, artist, story weaver, and shaman. And you are in the Alchemy Atelier, an experience in which you enjoy art as an alchemy for life. I help you to awaken your creativity as a brush with which to paint your life and your work in the colors of your soul. In video 1, I spoke about the Pachakuti, the planetary death and rebirth that is going on right now in our world, and which is a cosmic, planetary, and evolutionary context in which this very real life epic battle for our democracy is being waged right now. So there's a link below for that video number 1 in the description. Today, I will lend you my eyes as a shaman to face the dark forces of smoking mirror. Because in human evolution throughout the millennia, there have been curves, waves, and these waves have had light and dark, light and dark. And so smoking mirror is the dark in the evolution, the dark face or the dark side of evolution as we as humans try to wield our power. Then we're going to find out how we fell into smoking mirrors trick. So it was a trick, a very dirty trick here, and we fell for it. And how we turned against our loyal leader, dividing and weakening our own forces. Remember, no judgment. We're looking at these things to course correct. And number four, we're going to understand that we have not solved the problem just by changing the candidate. And that no matter how good Kamala is, if we don't change our mistakes in the presidential debate, which that's what I'm doing, showing our mistakes so we can turn them into opportunities. But if we don't change our mistakes, then it can happen again. And I'm not just talking about the presidential candidate. I'm talking about us, we the people, and about the Democratic Party too, which we will address on the last video. And finally, we're going to dive deep into our mistakes from the creative point of view of changing them into opportunities, of course, correcting and getting strong to give democracy a win. So this is the work of a psychic detective, and that's one of the jobs of a shaman. So join me in this mythical journey to dispel our fears and activate our creativity on behalf of democracy, human evolution, and planetary reparation. I don't know about you, but lately, every time I wake up and I start hearing the news and all the election madness, I just want to go back to bed. I think I woke into a nightmare. I have to go back to bed to really wake up, right? Unfortunately, or fortunately, as a shaman, I know that there is one certainty, and that is that normal is not coming back. Because we are in the eye of an evolutionary quantum leap. And the only way to overcome this apparent chaos is to engage ourselves in the transformation that is being offered to us, so that we move from third dimension to fifth dimension, from fear and separation to freedom and unity. That's the only way out. So since we can't change, we have to change, and we can't change what we cannot see or what we do not acknowledge, then let's go through a list of the main challenges that we're facing right now. Let's look at the madness right on its face. A mad convicted criminal who attempted a coup d'etat to our country is now running for president, promising to be a dictator on day one. If I had heard this sentence 10 years ago, I would have thought it was a joke. But I'm not laughing now. Okay, let's continue. A good president who has been reviving antitrust measures to limit the forces of oligarchy on our behalf, and who is trying for oligarchy not to ransack this country more, was dismissed from running again. by his own party. Okay, a multiracial female candidate emerges and is immediately portrayed as a diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI candidate. And this is somehow equated to mediocrity. Well, that one doesn't surprise me at all. I've been living with it for a long, long time. Next, a political convention is dressed up as a macho man entertainment spectacle. Oh, the bleak, the biceps, the betrayals. An out of control barrage of lies beyond belief is making truth irrelevant, leading to a disturbing spread of profound distrust among us, among we the people. And that is usually the backdrop for fascist takeover. And now we are in terror of the destruction of democracy and the installation of a dictator in our seat of government. You know, we are only humans. And what is happening is really, really scary, it's terrifying. So of course we're scared. And that's okay, because fear is only an emotion, it's not a life sentence. However, when we react from that fear, then we're giving away the win to the forces of darkness that are part of this wave of evolution. And this is the worst thing that we can do, because fear manifests what we fear. And that's what I see happening right now. So what can we do? Today I will reveal how we need to shift perception, transmute emotions, embody the truth that is being hidden, and unite our intention in order to stop reacting in fear and become the citizen leaders who give democracy a win. How do we do this? Number one, understand what is the real enemy behind the psychic attack to our current president and what it reveals about the next step to evolve democracy. Right? Number two, learn emotional alchemy to transmute fear. We can transmute fear into clarity and serenity, passion for democracy, and unified intentional responses. So we're going to take a look at that. Number three, redefine our perception of power, strength, and authority so that we don't fall into the obfuscation and instead we clear out the toxic environment of fascism that is wrapping around us. All right. And all of this we're going to see it through learning the tricks of smoke and mirror as they were played in the debate. Number four, stop depending on political leaders to save us. This attitude is the exact hook that fascism uses to catch us. Ouch. We need to get out of our passive comfort zone and assume our personal power to embody, defend, and evolve democracy. The time of the hero is gone. It's not who will win. It's to whom do we give the win. And number five, become the citizen leaders that give democracy the win. And of course, we do this by doing the above tasks, right? Okay, so now you have the clear picture. In this journey, we will study the tricks of smoke and mirror in the debate, track them down, see how we responded, what mistakes we made in the responses, to learn how to do just that. Transform these mistakes into opportunities that give the win to democracy. Woohoo! Welcome! Welcome to the debate of the millennia. Come in and take a seat. But be aware that you are not just a spectator. You are part of the evolutionary shift taking place as we once again experience the battle of two forces that have fought for human leadership for millennia: Smoking Mirror and Feather Serpent. We are journeying into the mysterious, metaphorical world of archetypes and mythology. Mythology and archetypes speak the language of our psyche. Here we will see beneath the obvious, beneath the reality that is apparent and that we've been trained to see, beneath it, into the soul of truth. We are now revisiting the first presidential debate of 2024, traveling back a few days to once again see the performance of our current smoking mirror, which you're going to recognize right away the minute I start describing smoking mirror. And as we track down his actions, we're going to start discovering what we missed during the debate. So basically, we're going to travel to the past to change the present. Through the eyes of the shaman, the mythical perspective allows us to stretch time and to detach from our entanglement with details. This reveals our cyclical patterns, our hidden narratives, and our deep, dark shadows. Let's take a deep breath. Inhale gently and receive spirit, and exhale slowly and release fear and stress. Again. I invite you to keep the breath going and sit in place of love, peace, and serenity as you meet Smoking Mirror, the force of darkness, destruction, delusion, division, and domination. Meet Smoking Mirror. The Aztec Mayan people knew him as Tezcatlipoca. He is the god of war and destruction, of power as domination, of greed and oppression, of fear turned anger turned hatred, and of ever-widening separation. He is cunning and devious, for his only goal is to win at all cost and to dominate the people for his own personal glory and ambition. Smoking Mirror wears a mask of confidence and a mantle of charisma. People can see him as an alpha leader. He's commanding. He talks the loudest and says the last word. He makes quick decisions. And people are like, oh, he's so decisive. But of course he is. He does not hear what we the people have to say. He doesn't consult experts. He doesn't listen to his own team. He doesn't check what he's deciding against the mandate from the people to see if he's fulfilling that. He doesn't care about anybody else. So he just makes a decision right there based on his overconfidence, in his arrogance, and his hidden agendas, and then imposes it with aggressiveness and dramas. He never accepts that he makes a mistake, as he believes that this makes him look weak. So he just bullies others to cover up any error. So those who follow him blindly think that he makes no errors. Smoky Mirror does not serve we the people. He never has throughout millennia. He has a never-ending hunger for power, money, and supremacy. His allies are the kings and the court, equivalent to the oligarchy now. He also partners with the corrupt military leaders of his time, who prosper through war, and with the priests who benefit from his fear-mongering to keep people in submission and ignorance. Every other person is a soldier to die to bring him a win, as is never-ending wars for profits. When we talk or hear about Smoky Mirror's war, we need to stay awake and not believe that they are only literal wars. He creates conflict, separation, and strife wherever he is. Divide and conquer is his motto. He injects this divisive drama into any situation to divide forces so that he can sneak in his agenda. The story of Smoky Mirror is a story as old as humanity, and he has many incarnations. I'm sure that you already recognize his current persona. So let's go over his strategies and qualities as we move along this journey. Spoiling the feminine. Smoky Mirror does not honor the feminine. He despises it as weak. He wears the hollowness of the widowed masculine who has lost touch with the feminine in him, in women, and in the cosmos. As a result, he becomes a predatory force. This leads to a state in which women are oppressed, devalued, and ignored. And Pachakuti creates an illusion of the male dominant stance that increases the predatory dominant aspect of leadership. At a deeper level, this absence of the feminine perspective sustains a narrative of aggression as strength, humiliation, and bullying as debate. And if you go to YouTube, for example, and you look at all the videos that are commenting on the election, that are talking about the candidates, you're going to see the word humiliate many, many times. It has become part of the language for this political time. And bullying. You're going to see people mocking at each other, going, like that. You just look at the visuals, at the language. We're there. You're going to see this Sita strategy, and you're going to see it today. You're going to see domination as power. And all this language, all these attitudes create a dangerous trend towards the dehumanization of our socio-political culture. That's where the sense of an alpha leader comes from. But we, the people, are so impressed with his arrogance, which we confuse with confidence, that we don't check to see if that quick decision he made is the right decision for us. So we fail to see that we are the prey of that predator. We're so enchanted that we do not fact check with the past to see if his previous decisions were any good. No. In our obfuscation, facts become irrelevant and truth becomes irrelevant. We follow him because he's an authoritarian, and we confuse that with real authority. He's aggressive, and we confuse that with strength. And so we fall again and again for his power postures, even though he exploits us, stunts our growth, disempowers us, drains our finances, and causes us untold suffering. And this has been going on for centuries. Smoky Mirror has left a trail of ruined cities, ruined people, ruined economies, ruined art and science, and ruined lives. A trail of blood and violence where people were enmeshed in so much anger and hatred that they divided themselves in more and more factions to war against each other until there was no more tribe. There were only warring factions killing each other. That's the history of Smoky Mirror's deeds in humanity. And that's why we, the people, have been stuck with Smoky Mirror through centuries. We forget how he led us to war, suffering, alienation, destruction, and even massacres, where thousands of people have died. And we ask ourselves, how could we not remember? No, that's madness, right? Let's look at the sudden amnesia that wraps around his audiences. What is going on? So why are they so enchanted? And not in a good way. Let's follow Smoky Mirror. Let's follow the incumbent Smoky Mirror to his secret abode. Watch him now as he looks into his infamous obsidian mirror. This is a two-way or two-faced ensorcelled mirror. The inward face of this mirror absorbs the secret of people, murmuring those secrets to Smoky Mirror so that he can then use these secrets and their fears to manipulate their minds. Through that inward face, he spies into his enemies and watches the comings and goings of we the people. And then he uses our fears, our dreams, our hunger, and our wounds. Watch how he does it. He flips the mirror, and now he's looking through the outward face of the mirror. What is he doing? He broadcasts lies through the mirror, and the ensorcelled mirror distorts these lies into truth. He's using the outward face of this obsidian mirror right now during the presidential debate to create a glamour, an illusion that covers the truth and presents a false reality. Watch him. Watch Smoky Mirror take his obsidian mirror and listen to the most primitive, primal survival fears of the people. And now he turns the mirror And he presents those fears to us, magnified and distorted, so that now everybody's terrified. He then offers to take care of them, and they give the power away for their safety. Such an old trick. He's done it so many times. Did you hear him doing it in this debate? Here are some of his words. To the primal human fear of the unknown and of strangers. Those immigrants are all killers. They come out of prison and out of mental institutions. They are murdering our people. People are coming in and killing our citizens in New York, in California, because of these ridiculous and insane policies. To the primal human fear of being rejected or ridiculed. Other countries no longer respect us. They think that we're stupid. They take from us, and then they don't give back to us, and they don't respect us. All projections, by the way. And to feed our fear that he's too old, that our leader is too old, our incumbent smoky mirror brought that accusation strategically at a moment where his opponent was struggling with all of these bombardments of lies. And we failed to see the trick and fell right into it. We fell into the reality that he painted with the colors of our fears. See how the obsidian mirror generates illusions that confuse people. He makes lies sound like truth, and now the truth seems like a lie. He makes the guilty look innocent, and now the innocent look guilty. He uses the obsidian mirror to distort reality until truth becomes irrelevant. Hear the fabrication he's saying about his opponent right now in the debate. You allow abortion even in the last months. You even rip the baby out of the womb and then you kill it. This is such an outrageous lie that the discussion comes to a halt. All you can do with such venomous lies is reiterate your truth. But then he not only insists in his lies, but distorts your truth with a lie so shameful and absurd that it maligns whatever truth you say. And on top of that, he will accuse you of lying and saying the absurd lies that he's actually saying and doing. You know, he plays with the mirrors. The mythical smoky mirror, just as our incumbent smoky mirror, is a cynic and will do whatever needs doing in order to win, no matter how low or devious. He shocks his opponent. I want you to remember these moments as I describe them. He shocks his opponent. Then he pokes to find his opponent's wounds. And then he launches his poisonous lies directly into those wounds to disconcert his opponent. Why bother about truth? Why bother about service or morality? All you have to do is derail your opponent from their center so that they begin looking disoriented. And then smoky mirror pounces and distorts this disorientation, momentary disorientation, into incapacitation. Do you recognize this behavior in the debate? Before we continue in this tracking of smoking mirror during the first debate that we're now revisiting, I want you to see if there's a part of you that's saying, oh, this, he's always like that. He just says crazy lies. It's like, can you hear that in your voice? I want to take you through the architecture of those lies, because they are not just crazy lies. The architecture of these lies is the important thing, not the lies themselves. They are not meant to be facts or to convey information. So we dismiss them as just lies because we're so used to lies, right? So that's, like he's just crazy or whatever. No, we can't. We have to look at the architecture of the lies, because these lies are weapons. Firstly, he shocked his opponent. Okay, remember from the beginning we're looking from the beginning of the debate. He shocked his opponent. He did this with a barrage of lies that was so outrageous that I found myself with my jaw on the floor, just like the president was. Just like, do not make the mistake of believing that his lies were just crazy words. They were psychic attacks. Each lie shot with malice and intention. It is an energy arrow that's dipped into psychic poison that is emotionally triggering. When he shoots them non-stop, one after the other, they have the effect. It's like a cumulative effect. And it's the same effect in our psyche as a warrior that has been shot with dozens of arrows buried in his flesh. You understand? Just feel it. Feel that this, that, the other. It's like lies. And you can recover. That is a psychic attack. They are words used for war. The war of words. Why do I call them arrows? Or say that they're poisonous? Because number one, these lies are made to cause pain. And they cause pain in our soul, because our soul is the truth. So they're directed at our heart chakra. And so they're directed to our self-value, to the truth of what we have done, what we are, what we believe, what we love, And because they're shot at one after the other without stop, then they have a cumulative effect in our energy and in our heart. Number two, they shock us because they are blatant distortion of reality that our mind cannot believe any sane person would say. So they boggle our rational mind. They create a shock. I mean, this is a debate that we're watching, right? Right now, right? It's a debate. It's a rational discussion. So our mind gets boggled, because we're trying to have a rational discussion that this is here, right? This is here. But what is happening, is there. And they're not the same reality. So now what do? You see what I'm saying? We cannot answer with truth. We cannot answer with reason. We cannot answer with facts. We cannot answer. How do we answer? The game has just changed. Number three, they enter vulnerable places in us and make them bleed, meaning leak energy to debilitate us. And if you remember how our president was debilitated, like he started talking like he had less energy to talk. And we're going to see him later, but I want to concentrate on Smoking Mirror now because he's the one doing this game. They enter vulnerable places. These are not arrows, random arrows. They look random because they're so crazy and all over the place. But they are poking for our any vulnerable place. Next, they distract our attention. This is so important because shamans understand the twin law of energy and attention, which states that energy follows attention. That means that where we place our attention, that's where our energy goes. But now look at this. If you observe Smoking Mirror in this debate, it's jumping like how in cosmic jumps. It's like in one sentence you can talk about 5 different things all mixed up and jumble and crazy talk. But this sends our minds all over the place because remember, his opponent has to answer to what he's saying. And how can you answer at 7 different things all over the place? Your energy, your attention is fragmented. And so is your energy. And now you're starting to leak energy. And you're starting to feel destabilized and fragmented. And you're thinking to yourself, I have 2 minutes to answer, 1 minute, I don't remember. Which of these issues do I answer? How do I, you're overwhelmed. Are you seeing the architecture of this? And finally, they put you in the defensive, for all the above reasons. They put you on a defensive. So now you're focusing on defending yourself, or you spinning in fear like we were, spinning in fear while he sneaks his agenda unseen. And that is what happened in this debate, okay? But let's continue with the architecture of these lies. Secondly, he devalued his opponent's worth, truth, and actions. He did this by, again, launching a barrage of lies to everything that our current leader is, everything he has achieved, and everything that he stands for. So every fact spoken by our current leader, describing what he had done, was blatantly brushed away as a lie, and then insults and bullying sprinkled on top, just for show. He constantly declared that what our leader said was a lie, and kept pouring his lies over our leader's truth until the leader had to either stop and regroup or fall into Smoking Mirror's idiotic skirmishes, losing the focus on his own intention, which is what happened in the debate. Thirdly, once he destabilized our current leader, he began to send lies directed to all main things that our leader loves and stands for. This was poking. It's like poking to see, where are you tired today? Where are you a little bit confused? Where are you doubting? Where are you feeling weak today? So he poked to everything. He poked to our leader's family, his promises, his integrity, his truth, his capability, on and on and on. Of course, by now, the other leader has either given up on answering his stupid lies or is in the defensive, out of center. If he opts for the former, giving up and answering, it looks like he's admitting that he lied. And if he tries the later, he looks unstable. And now Smoking Mirror goes for the jugular. He found our current leader's vulnerable point that day of the debate and went for the kill. He launched his poisonous lies directly into that wound to further disconcert his opponent. He doesn't know what he's saying. He's not mentally competent. But it was not meant for him. It was meant for us. That arrow hit us. Because, of course, we're seeing our leader destabilized, struggling with all of these dirty, horrible tactics and this psychic attack. What we see is through the eyes of what Smoking Mirror is saying. He is incompetent. He's mentally, look, he doesn't know what to do. We see through his eyes. And we fall into the reality he is painting. This was not a debate. A debate is a rational conversation. This was a psychic war. Unfortunately, nobody told our current leader how the game was going to be played. And unfortunately, he was off his game that day because he has dealt with Smoking Mirror before. Remember, we cannot forget because of the forgetfulness that, gets embedded in us when we're afraid. He has done this before, but he, for some reason, whether he was sick, as he said, or he had family problems, whatever, we're all human. There are off days and there are on days, and he was in an off day. And that created, that was like the last drop for us to decide right there and then that he failed, that he was incompetent. Smoking Mirror painted reality with the colors of our fear so that we would see what he wanted us to see. When you face an enemy that has no values or principles, that cares for nothing, and whose only goal is to win, and is willing to do anything in order to win, your greatest danger is not to lose. Your greatest danger is to become like him. Because then everybody loses. You lose yourself, you lose your values, and you lose for the people that you are standing for. So therefore, you have a huge moral constraint that your opponent does not. Smoking Mirror takes all his mistakes, failures, unpopular actions, hidden agendas, and projects them into his opponent. Using the obsidian mirror. Here our incumbent Smoking Mirror playing this trick. He's destroying Medicaid by offering it to all those immigrants. He's destroying Social Security. He hates the military. He does not respect our veterans. He's a liar. You cannot believe anything he says. Everything he says is a lie. What he's doing is criminal. When he is a convicted criminal. How does he have the fresh face to accuse anyone of being a criminal? How can he assert that his opponent hates the military and wants to destroy Social Security when we all know that that's what he does? That's what he's doing. What is happening? He's projecting his shadows into his opponent, his failures or his unpopular stances onto his opponent. He's really talking about himself because he cannot really see anyone else. Do you recognize him projecting his darkness onto his opponent? It's a lot, isn't it? Because Smoking Mirror only cares about winning, he's a cheat. He's a cheat. Everywhere he goes, he's a cheat. Watch our incumbent Smoking Mirror as he steals all the victories from his opponent and brags out about them as if they're theirs. I left the economy better than it has ever been. Those new jobs, that was me. I opened them. I mean, we can laugh, right? But it's really, really tragic. Are you starting to see how he hijacks reality through the ancient obsidian mirror? So that the Mayans and the Aztec Mayans talked about. This is his obsidian mirror is very infamous throughout the ages. So through his obsidian mirror, he creates a glamour, which is an illusion. It's like you're looking at something and it changes and it becomes part of an illusion that this person is throwing. And you don't see the reality. You see what they are throwing at you. And now, look what he does. He's going to throw threats as his own threats, but present them as safety. This country doesn't feel safe anymore. I'm the one who makes this country safe. What an old trick. He repeats words that then the public associates with him. Examples, negative words that he saves us from would be shame, ridicule, and loser. He says that constantly. Positive words that he brings to us would be power, dignity, winner. Repeating these words constantly to penetrate our psyche. We are looking at psychic attacks. That's the structure of a psychic attack, okay? So we need to open our eyes here because we need to start seeing energy and intention, not just words. The action and the intention behind those words, the architecture. And he continually repeats a phrase about everything that he does, whether it's good or bad or successful or failure, it doesn't matter. He's always saying this because it's his branding. He wants you to associate it with his identity. Everybody knows that this is good. Everybody agrees. All the experts and all the learned people agreed. Everybody loved what I did. A fictitious consensus here. Woohoo! And through this mental obfuscation, Smoking Mirror throws the glamour over the audiences, who suddenly run away from the true leader, the leader who is caring for their needs and making good on his promises to improve their conditions, and they start attacking this leader as weak and incapable. And they give away their power to Smoking Mirror. They give him the win. Listen to what I just said. They, meaning we the people, gave him the win. It's not that Smoky Mirror is winning. It's not that he won. It's not even that he won the debate. It's that we do not see his sorcery and instead fall into his perception. And now we turn against the leader who has been true, loyal, and capable, and who has our best interest, and who is a staunch defender of democracy. And of course, Smoky Mirror's bully bodies, the oligarchy-owned mainstream media, immediately after the debate picked up Smoky Mirror's flag and focused on presenting our leader as weak. So that surreptitiously we were again bombarded with a perception that gave Smoky Mirror the win. And, deepened our fear. So did we make a mistake when, by taking the Serpent out of the picture? What I want you to consider is this. In this Pachakuti, this is not only the death of an old world and the birth of a new world, but it is a quantum evolution living consciousness in human consciousness. And this is the wave. Imagine that the cosmic consciousness has sent a new wave, of possibilities, a new wave of consciousness that is being downloaded into humanity, which is that what is happening, right? But this wave has dark and light. You see, it has night and day, dark and light. When we choose from the this is going towards the fifth dimension. This wave is going towards bringing us into consciousness, in unity consciousness, right? And we will see more of that in the third video. But when we choose from fear, right? This is fear. We are choosing Smoky Mirror. It's fear and domination, that kind of polarity. And we're choosing in the third dimension. We're going back to the third dimension, which is driven by fear, right? When we choose from love and freedom and unity, then we are choosing to move in the light pathway, in the light power that leads gracefully and directly and joyfully towards the unity consciousness, because that's where we're going. But we're choosing how we want to get there. Do we want to get there the hard way through a period of darkness, of domination, of fascism, of loss of our human rights, etc., etc.? Do we want to get there the rough way because we're resisting and because we are giving our power away to fear and trying to avoid pain and creating more division? Then that's what we're choosing. Or do we want to do the transformation that allows us to travel the path of light and gracefully just grow into unity consciousness by choosing from love, by choosing in freedom, by choosing unity? It's our choice. In these elections, we are going beyond choosing a candidate. We are choosing who we become and how we evolve through pain or graceful transformation. We are choosing fear and domination or evolved democracy. So let's embrace ourselves. Rock a little bit or swing, whichever feels better for your body. Touch ourselves with unconditional love, without judgment, with acceptance. No matter if we make mistakes, no matter whatever challenges we're facing, just acceptance and unconditional love. Breathing gently, receiving spirit in the inspiration, and exhaling and letting out, releasing stress, judgments, fear, constrictions. Alright, because we're talking about obfuscation, the clouding of our perception, our mind, by an illusion, a glamour. Alright, so we've talked about the first obfuscation that Smoking Mirror created, our incumbent Smoking Mirror, in this debate, and it was to exacerbate our fears. You know, he set it up so that he probed and he, poke until he got a shock, and the shock was followed by several things that we will talk later on when we talk about Feather Serpent. But when he created that response that he saw that his opponent was off center, then he showed and he said it. Oh, look, he doesn't even know what he's talking about. And now he had the picture completed. And we ran because we already were scared about that. We ran with that. And our fear just cracked open. And then it just flew through our whole organism, collective consciousness. And we just cry out against the current leader, who is doing a good job so far. So we help him. We help Smoking Mirror to eliminate his opponent. We help Smoking Mirror to present our alternative, the opponent we selected, right? That is representing and is working for us, as weak. And so we created a division and we created a weakness in our position. But there's a second obfuscation here that Smoking Mirror created with his infamous obsidian mirror. And we're not even catching on. By coming out with his psychic guns and shooting to destroy our current leader's character, throwing doubt upon his ability and keeping the psychic attack constantly with a barrage of lies and insults, the incumbent Smoking Mirror has distracted us from his own deficits. He did not need to defend his track record of what he has done or not done for we the people. He didn't have to. All he had to do is what he usually does, which is his default. He doesn't need any faculty to do it because it's his default. Right? So it's just, I did everything well. Everything is, everybody loves me. Everything I do is great, and, and blame the opponent. So he just kept repeating that. He doesn't need to answer for his track record. And number two, he does not need his memory for facts, because while Feather Serpent was giving facts and like really using his memory, even though he was in certain shock, which we will see later, Smoking Mirror, he didn't have to, because all he was doing was insulting, and throwing more and more baggage of lies, that you don't need memory for that, right? So he went on his issues, which have been discussed a lot by thousands of mental health experts, thousands. He didn't have to do any of that, because all he do is his default. So we didn't get to see how his mind was working. And then he didn't need to describe his plan, his infamous Project 2025, because it's already crumbling, because people are starting to study it and realize that it's the death of democracy, right? And it's his autocratic agenda. So he didn't have to go there, because that would have made him very vulnerable. And he would have to have been accountable, So basically he blindsided us and focused on his weak, all that has been asked and has been challenged for him. He projected it. Did we see that? No, nobody's talking about that. Everybody fell for that obfuscation. So that's the second obfuscation that our current smoking mirror created. He just simply inflated and aggrandized himself by his bullying, while making his own incapacities invisible. And he made his opponent the issue, but he got the visibility as, oh, I'm so strong, But there's something beneath it that we need to look at. Because this was too brilliantly Machiavellian. And it just doesn't fit his style, Because our current smoking mirror, he's into the rambles, rants, and rages erratically all the time. And he lies constantly. Yes, that's him. But there is not a lot of subtlety and intelligence in his strategy, in his underground work. This is the work of a much more deviant and darkly brilliant force that is leading the strings here. So what we need to look at is that all this drama that he creates is a facade, is another illusion. That he is not really smoking mirror. He is another trick that is created by the true undercover smoking mirror. This is like an illusion, right? Like one of those magic tricks. We all know that there is a very toxic river of dark gold running through our democracy, and it has been running for a long time. And we have been struggling against it, and at the same time, we have been accepting the excuses and the facades created. So we become, the struggle becomes an internal war also. And this incumbent secret smoking mirror, the true one, he's the oligarchy. In ancient times, it would be the king and the court, you see what I'm saying? But in these times, it's oligarchy. We're back to the Gilded Age, you know? To the robber barons. And that's breaking the fiber of democracy, and it's been happening for a long time. So if we look at, how is this madness happening? How is this guy getting away with so much and still running? Then we're gonna start. As we make that question, we're gonna start hearing certain answers, because what we see right now is like, what is this madness that a man who is convicted as a criminal and accused of 34 felony counts, is including rape, is still running for president, and that he mysteriously, the sentence keeps moving back, and that the Supreme Court breaks its own fundamental role and declares him basically a king, right? And we look at all of these things and we say, what is this madness? And we get so terrified. I mean, it's any normal being would be terrified, really. It boggles the mind. It does. It's like, oh, what the, and there's so many reactions. It's like we are in reaction. So people just like, I don't want to talk about politics, or I this, or that, or somebody's like obsessed and cannot talk about anything else but politics, right? We are in reaction. We're scared. And it makes sense, because we cannot figure this out. But what we need to do is, how can this happen? How can a man who is a convicted criminal then, as accused, still be running? And, how does he get to be the sentence moved? He's getting all these privileges. How could that happen? Well, we know how it happens. The moment we ask, how can that happen? We know how it happens. There's a toxic river of dark gold. And that gold is tainted with blood. And that blood is the blood of the middle class and the workers. And the unions. And you can keep going there, right? So there you have it. That's the true smoking mirror. That's the true problem. That's the true enemy of we the people. And this is not about conspiracies, it's not about communism and all the things that are, and every time we start talking about the truth and the core of the problem that we're suffering, then comes the labels. Now, this is about oligarchy. The rise of oligarchy, to the point that historically, when oligarchy has so much power, what happens is that democracy is like a cap. They cannot, there's so much they can steal. So much privilege they can accumulate. So the next step historically has been fascism or dictatorship. The dismantling of the rule of law so that they can start hoarding more. And we're there. And that's what we are. And that's why the prices keep rising, and then Smoky Mirror says, you see, it's him. It's my opponent. It's not his opponent. His opponent is trying to solve the problem. And he said it very clearly. It's corporate greed. You know. So because we're scared, we're just pointing fingers. We need to see the real smoky mirror here. That's paying millions of dollars in lobbying, in bribes, and in having those sentences commuted, in having that Supreme Court, break its own fundamental ethics in corruption. We need to focus there. That's where we need to focus and investigate and get answers and make changes, which our current leader is trying to make. So you see how the focus on him, so we get rid of him. Just starts. Can you flip it now? Can you flip it now? So what I'm saying here is that this infamous 1% of the oligarchy that has the money, has the influence, has the media source, the marketing sorcerers, owns the media, has the intelligentsia sorcerers, the mind benders who use techniques that in the shamanic language would be sorcery, dark sorcery, right? So, and it is this mind bending techniques, these obfuscations, and then bribe and put pressure on the government officials, create corruption, and they have resources galore. They clean the trail of blood that is running after their greed bleeds us dry. We, the people, need to look beneath the incumbent smoky mirror that is a screen. It's another obfuscation of the obsidian mirror, and follow that trail of money. Become detectives. Put on your Sherlock Holmes hat and follow the money. All right, so here are the three main obfuscations again that Smoky Mirror threw during this debate. Number one, he painted his opponents with the color of our fear. So that suddenly we started seeing him as inadequate in spite of his excellent work until now. And number two, he avoided having to expose his own incapacities, his own mental decline, his past failures, or his present lack. And made the other the issue. And number three, he hid the real source of the threat to democracy we are facing. I mean, he's a threat, but he's the drama. He's the illusion. And we need to go under and focus on the real issue here. And the irony of this is that our current president has been working to address the problem and has plans and is asking our support to stop the oligarchy from getting the whole piece of cake, basically. So we actually weakened our own core solution. Ouch. And in this obfuscation, Smoky Mirror succeeded. His opponent, our leader, our current president, left the debate to face massive attack, not by Smoky Mirror, His work was done. He didn't have to bother about anything else. We, the people, did the rest of the work for Smoking Mirror. We gave Smoking Mirror the win. So here are our mistakes. We gave him the win by, number one, allowing him to exacerbate our fear reactivity. So we started reacting from fear instead of transmuting that fear. We immediately reacted, and that was the second thing. And then we turned against the best proven leader so far that is already doing a capable job. And then the third is that we allow that obfuscation. And the obfuscation is that he creates this big drama, and we get involved in that drama, and we don't see what the real core problem is. Who's paying his bill? Right? And not necessarily by direct funding. Those are our 3 mistakes so far. Smoking mirror is the shadow mirror of our power shadows. Of our patriarchal definition of power as domination. When we see power as domination, then we, the people, we, the ordinary human being, feels that we don't have power. We see power as dominant, then we focus power is out there. I need a powerful leader. I need a warrior. I need this. I need that. I need an alpha. Because I need somebody who can dominate. And in that process, we see ourselves as not powerful, as not leadership material. So we give away our power to our leaders and to alpha leaders, you see what I'm saying? And so then the perfectionist shadow is right there. So when we see a leader who is not acting as an alpha, who's not acting as a macho man, who's not acting as a dominant sovereign leader, who's acting as an ordinary human being with an extraordinary commitment and love for his people, who's acting from a place of service, then we don't see that leader as a leader. We don't see him as powerful because we don't see ourselves as powerful. Ouch. Then our perception is distorted into seeing as powerful only those leaders who are alpha leaders, champions, who present themselves as champions, superstars, rich and famous, the heroes, the saviors. Do you see what I'm saying? And what we ironically do not realize is that that type of presentation, those are the leaders who are out to get whatever they can. And there's a lot of confusion that we have because of that. So we think that the one who talks louder and says the last word is stronger. Our president at this point doesn't need to be a muscle man. That's not what we need, to say. We need experience and wisdom. And sobriety. And honesty. And commitment to an evolved democracy, a democracy that has diversity and equal justice for all, and opportunities for all. That's an evolved democracy. And then, because we are falling into that place of seeing power in that way, in which then success is money. Our perception is being conditioned. Success is money. No. Because then, to be successful, you steal all the money you can, and that's what they're doing. For sure, right? And strength is muscle power, and authority is putting authority over people, authoritarianism. Do you see what I'm saying? All these definitions are patriarchal and are obsolete, and that's what we're running against. But we need to cleanse them from our own head. And the circle comes back, the serpent biting its own tail, when, because we project power in that way, then we feel disempowered, and because we feel less powerful, then we select the sovereign leaders and give our power to them. Do you see the whole vicious cycle? So what I hope you have seen, you start seeing now, is that this is the forgetfulness that has been happening time after time through centuries and millennia of human beings, that we bring smoking mirror into the throne, and we forget that he ruined us. We forget that he enslaved us before. We forget that he killed a lot of people, that he stole our resources, that people were miserable, that the country fall into wreck and ruin. We forget that because of our fear and our power shadows, and we bring him back again. And smoking mirror is ancient. His obsidian mirror is very old. It has been used for centuries by those who have worn the title of smoking mirror, the god of war and destruction, of separation and hatred, of lies and fear-mongering, of dictatorship and autocracy, of power as domination, of greed and oppression. Before we move along the myth, become aware that our incumbent smoking mirror also failed. He believes that he won because in his self-delusional state, he believed that, well, he was confident, he said the last word, he befuddled us, so therefore, in his mind, he won. But he didn't. He failed at his own goal. Because what happened is that he showed himself. There's no way that you can say all those lies and throw so much aggression out there and blame and not show who you are. He showed his lack of ethics, of moral, of compassion, of humanity, of respect. He showed his low level, of vibration. His fear-mongering, his hatred-mongering. And so the people reacted, like institutions are coming out of the woodwork, and people are coming out of the woodwork, and other leaders are coming out of the woodwork to say, even I think the New York Times, to say that he's not fit to run for president. And we will see him doing more drama to obfuscate his lack and his deficits, and he creates drama. So we need to become aware of that and cancel. It's like, do not feed that drama, and do not allow that drama to feed chaos, fear, and hatred. Neutralize that drama, and we can do it. by ignoring the drama, by going beneath what is beneath the drama and exposing what is beneath the drama, and not reacting to the drama. Okay? We need to stop asking ourselves who is going to win. That's the wrong question. When we say, well, who's going to win? We're giving our power away, as if we had nothing to do with it. The question is, who are we going to give the win to? Because we are the power. We have the vote, we have our voices, we have our communities, we have a lot of influence, we have a lot of say-so. We had great community leaders. We have word of mouth, we have social media. When we come together in a unified, impeccable, unified intention, then we give the win. Flip that, okay? Wow. Okay. This has been intense, hasn't it? And we need to develop the stamina to stay, to walk through the darkness with our courage intact, with our eyes open. With our eyes open and with our courage intact. So if you want to get your power animal, if you know your power animal, you can bring them to the reflection, or you can bring your jaguar. Is a very good power animal to have during these elections, because jaguar walks through fear courageously and sees in the dark, because we need to walk into the darkness right now with this fascist component that we are facing, and it's not an easy thing to do, right? So what do we do? What do we do to create our tasks, all the tasks that I've talked about at the beginning? What action do we take? How can we carry on these asks? And how can we transform our mistakes in this debate into opportunities to give democracy a win? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we translate all of these in doable things? All right. So here we go. The first thing I said, the first task, is we need to see, acknowledge, and address the core problem and the real enemy of democracy. Which by now, I hope you know, it's the oligarchy. It's the robber barons. It's the ever-growing division between the middle and working class and these robber barons, this new aristocracy. So how do we do this? How do we see into this, into the core of truth? By understanding the architecture of psychic attack and fascist lies. That's the first thing. That's why I've took my time describing them, because these things are not about information, they're not about knowledge, they're not about facts, and they're not about truth. So if you listen to them to try and understand the truth, you're not going to listen. You're not going to hear what is really happening. They are about obfuscations. Right? You need to use the tools of the shaman. Perceptual tools, seeing or feeling energy, understanding emotional manipulation, understanding mind bending. You see what I'm saying? Those are the tools you need here. All right. So we need to coach ourselves to see obfuscation, number one, to detach so that we don't get hooked. And number three, to look at the goal under the lies. And here's some questions that you may want to ask yourself as you're tracking this. And by the way, remember, all of these things are in the video script. You can download it below, because there's a lot of things that I'm saying, and I don't expect you to remember all of this, right? Okay, so here are some of the questions that you can ask. Is it just distorting reality to make us doubt ourselves and our leaders? Whatever the insults or lies or barrage of delusions, ask yourself, is this just distorting reality to make us doubt ourselves or our leaders? If you see that this is the case, then we shift into serenity. We shift into serenity. It's like detach, move to your center, stay in your heart. And you then use critical thinking and fact-checking to release that obfuscation. If Smoky Mirror says, well, I did this, jot down, fact-check. 2. Is it trying to find breaking points to destabilize our leaders? If you see that probing and that fragmenting, then your job is to cheer for your leader, to have their back, to send them strength and clarity, and stay away from reacting from fear. Because we are all connected. Remember, we're going to the 5th dimension. We are all connected. We are in oneness. And when you go into your heart, you're in oneness. And you can send strength and love and clarity and even healing energies to your leaders. And they will feel it. Is this about scaring the bejesus out of us? That's another possibility. Then we shift our fear into serenity and clarity, passion for democracy, and unified intention. Those are the alchemies of fear. We refuse to react from that fear. We stay centered. We do not react from our fear. We allow it to happen. I'm going to show you later. Next, is this a distraction, distracting our attention? Then we simply focus on what is important to us. You keep your intention, unified intention. Remember, in this case, we really need to keep our eye on the ball. And because we already know that the core issue here is financial inequality, then we keep our eyes on the ball of financial equality and diversity by looking at the covert maneuvers of oligarchy, especially the new robber barons. You know who I'm talking about. We need to ask the questions, write the comments, share the truths about how they are degrading the work of the working class and secretly fund fascism. We need to research those. Who is funding? Who is making this available? We're saying, do your detective work and then pass the information, because that's the real enemy. It's not all that drama. The drama is a cover-up. Next, is there a covert agenda here? That's another good question. Is there a covert agenda going on in the debate? That agenda was to seed our fear with the perception that our current leader was incompetent, so that we would turn against him and they would be rid of the man who is creating antitrust measures. Remember, there's a very Machiavellic and brilliant mind beneath what we're seeing with the drama of Smoky Mirror. We need to go beneath to the hidden, covert Smoky Mirror. I know this is not easy, my people. But there is something else that hinders us. If we have not done our personal development work, we may still be under the spell of dysfunctional family lies. As a result, we are easy prey to fear reactivity and falling for lies, no matter how obvious they are. And I've seen this a lot with people that I can see are still in the grip of trauma, that come from abusive families, that come from maybe a father figure that it was an authoritarian or an abuser. or that are in a very rigid religion or cultural setup. They're trapped there. And then what happens is that the shared psychosis with the narcissist leader emerges, because there is a shared psychosis that pathological leaders spread, right? And so then we get hooked up onto it because we start seeing him as a savior, as a father. You see what I'm saying? So and this is part of what is being asked of us. This is a perfect design because we need to remember to move from fear into freedom. So what happens is that we need to go from the adult development stage of socialized mindset, in which we are still strapping everything we learn and we haven't, developed our own view of the world. We need to move into the self-authoring mindset or the self-transforming mindset, right? So we can really actualize. So personal growth, to move into our own personal power, is key. As we watch this political drama, we need to also be taking care of ourselves, self-care, self-development. And we need to stay in beauty. Do things that are creative, cartoonish, stay in beauty, all right? We need to do this. This is part of giving democracy a win. So now let's move to the second task. We transmute fear into clarity, passion for democracy, and unified intentional responses. So how do we do this? Now, transmuting our fear involves the practice of emotional alchemy, and that's like way beyond this video. So I am writing about this right now in my upcoming book, Creative Emergence, your operational manual for a new you in a new earth. So just go down to the description down below and click on the link and join the waiting list for that book. All right? Okay. But I will also be creating one or more videos, I don't know yet, showing step by step how to transmute fear into serenity, clarity, into passion, and for democracy, excitement, passion, and also unified intentional responses. So just subscribe to the channel, to the Alchemy Atelier channel, and you'll receive notices when I put on the videos. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos to help you, to uplift you and inspire you and keep you strong. All right. So finally, because you need something now, here's a quickie that I'm going to give you, and your body knows. Trust your body. All right. So become aware that you're afraid. That's the first thing. Like you're listening to a speech or a debate or whatever, and become aware. Breathe. That's why it's good to keep on breathing. And if you stop breathing, check yourself. Or if you go like this, check yourself immediately. Become aware that you're afraid. Your body lets you know. The first sign is constriction. You feel like very tight, your chest is very tight, or your shoulders are like this, and you're stopping breathing. This is fear. See it? So when you feel it, then become aware that you're feeling it. But also an overall sense of shrinking, because like the energy may be constricting and you feel like small. Anxiety spirals in the stomach are another common symptom, because some people, the fear hits them in the gut. Also, your mind is confused and you cannot think clearly. And your mind gets like a jumble, Your eyes are playing tricks with the light, it's like you're starting to see kind of like not see clearly and see the light, almost like the light fragments. All of these are symptoms that you're scared. So be aware. Then Also, check if you're already transmuting fear into anger, because a lot of us, most of us, immediately transmute fear into anger. We know how to do that instinctively because we need to run. When flight or fight is like you need to run. You cannot stay paralyzed because the tiger is going to eat you, right? So you transform it, through adrenaline into anger, right? But that's not gonna help. That's only gonna make it worse. So if that is happening to you, again, just accept it. Just become aware and allow it. All right. And for that, to see if you're already because it happens so quickly. If you start feeling fire, your inner fire coming up, that means that you're transmuting your fear into anger. If you feel that your face is very red and hot, you're transmuting your fear into anger. Your mind is spinning with angry thoughts, defensive angry thoughts. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna tell them that. I want to hit them. Like that. All this aggression. That's another sign that you're transmuting your fear into anger. Your jaw is locked, and you wanna that's another sign. And you have trouble thinking, but have an urge to react defensively or aggressively. So all of those things means you're transmuting it into anger. So what do you do now? Now that you're aware, then you keep breathing gently and slowly. Inhale and exhale more, like longer, because that releases stress. The longer your exhalation, the deeper your relaxation. Remember this. You allow the emotions to flow. You don't have to do anything. You have to react. You don't have to talk. You don't have to do anything. Allow the emotions to flow. Because if you allow emotions to flow, in 90 seconds, they will either be dispelled or transmuted. And your body knows what to do. If you do not react, if you stay there just breathing, allowing, accepting, and loving yourself unconditionally without judgment. If you start judging yourself or blaming others, or any or all of the above, then it's gonna get worse. But if you just you say, yeah, I'm afraid, yeah. It just goes. It flows. Energy flows. All right? Okay. All right. So now, you can also practice the unconditional love embrace that we've practiced here in the video. If your fear has gone into anger, again, let it flow. All right? Let it flow. Now focus your breathing in your heart. In your heart, in your sacred heart. Not in your drama heart. If you start that's your drama heart. Just go deeper. In your sacred heart, your soul. Keep breathing there. Keep bringing your energy there, your focus there. And you will start feeling a sense of serenity. A presence, a beauty. And you will feel like everything is clearing up, like there's a lot of empty space and silence and stillness. That's the place of your sacred heart. You stay in that stillness and that empty space, that clearance. That's the clearance of your heart. And I call that the serenity zone. You stay there and you are shifted into serenity. And that serenity allows you to then, remember that the heart has its own brain and sends messages to the brain and to the God, right? So then you start sending messages to the brain. And also you can bring in gratitude, appreciation, beauty, love. Remember the people you love, all of that, and you send to the brain. Serenity, clarity, love, gratitude, appreciation, beauty. and the brain starts calming, and your higher functions return. And if you get hit in the gut with fear, then you also send it to the gut. The clarity in the gut. Because in the gut, which is very connected to the brain, you can get confusion, fragmentation, run on, like you cannot stop thinking, defensive thoughts and stuff, all of that is the God brain connection. And so you send it to the God, you send the serenity to the God, and then you start feeling a clarity, like an oasis, right? So all of that. And now you're ready because you have cleansed the energy of fear from all the garbage and all the toxicity. And now you can gather that energy into your passion for democracy, for harmony, for the well-being of your loved ones, for the well-being of your country, for the well-being of Earth and humanity. You see, now you can use the energy. You have detoxified it. Okay, so number 3, our third task, redefine our perception of power, strength, and authority so that we don't fall into the obfuscation that is, oh, he's winning because he's talking louder or more or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because those are all perceptions of power. Deceptions, delusions of power, actually. All right. So in order to not fall into these, we need to transform our learned perceptions of power, which are all patriarchal and have all been about domination from all our history, right? So we need to change that. Right? So what do? First, take your journal out or a piece of paper, or you may want to dedicate a notebook through all of these elections for giving democracy a win and your own transformation in this Pachakuti. And there, reflect. Reflect on the following concepts. What have I learned? And how have I learned to define, number 1, power. Number 2, strength. Number 3, authority. Number 4, success. And number 5, leadership. And so you just just go write everything that you think of, that you remember everything, you just write it, and then from there you start pulling those threads and figuring it out. And now, once you see the definitions clearly, oh, I learned that power is this, oh, I learned that success is this, that leadership is this, then take like a week or two in which you're tracking while you're listening to the debate and all of these things, seeing videos and watching the TV or whatever, and catch yourself using any of the old definitions, because you have to understand how and when and where you do it, right? Because these are not just mental things, these are things that are programmed as interactions. So you're hearing the incumbent smoking mirror around, then you think, oh, this and that, I'm gonna lose or whatever. Why? Why? What idea of power am I hooked on? And so you track them, and you write those down. Write your tracking down. So you look very detective. You become you put your Sherlock Holmes hat there. And once you have the tracking, now you are empowered to change it. So redefine this. And don't make it intellectual. Go to your values, go to your heart, go to, the place of truth for you. So now you are equipped to go through the debate and recognize false power. Recognize when you're afraid because you're intimidated, but it's just bullying. Now you're empowered. And now the last thing to do is share what you have learned with others. Remember, it's unified. We need unity. All right. So, number 4. Stop depending on political leaders to save us. This attitude is the exact hook for fascism. That's why the leaders present themselves as saviors and make us very scared, so that we give them the vote. And then they run with the show, for years and years and years. So no, the time of the hero is gone. The time of the savior is gone. We need to get out of our passive comfort zone and assume our personal power as the citizen leader. We need to embody, defend, and evolve democracy. It's not who will win, oh my God. No. It's who do I give the win to? Who do we give the win to? So, I repeat these shifting things. I repeat them because I want you to, when you're in the middle of the drama, the political drama, to be able to hear yourself going, oh no, they're going to win. Oh, and stop yourself and shift. To get to like really implement these things. They're not theory. They're about our beliefs and responses and intentions. All right. So that's one thing. Recognize when you're there and shift. Number 2, do your homework. Do your homework. Track down the record of the candidates. Track down their associations. People by the friends they keep, right? So who are they partnering with? And that will tell you. Track down their agendas. Use critical thinking. Don't just hear what they say. Hear their agenda. So this is how this works. You are going to give the win to someone. But before you do, ask yourself this question. Who is this person giving the win to? Because this candidate is is the face of someone, right? So it's either the Democratic Party or whatever other candidate is running, or is the oligarchy. You understand? So who is this person working for? You look at the agenda. What are they doing? How are they relating? What is the track record? And then you know who they're working for, and then you decide if you want to give them the win, because ultimately you're giving the win to that entity for what they're working for. Is that going to help you? Hello? And I highly, highly recommend that you watch Robert Reich, because of all the people I know, that I listen to, that I, try to learn from, try to get, confirm my data with, he is one of the people that he is honest. He's very knowledgeable, both about history of the United States and about the whole political history of this country. He has been in government, and he has been an activist, and he's a professor, and he's honest. But you know what I'm saying? He's not. He doesn't stay in the intellectual vein, He speaks rice and beans, like I say, and we can understand what he says. He brings it down to clarity, to relevance in our lives. So, I think he could help you. And yes, we're now in our last and fifth task. Become the citizen leader that gives democracy the win. Yay! All right. So so now you already are in this serenity zone, so you're not victimized by fear. You transmute into serenity and clarity, right? And passion for democracy, etc. And so now you can share this process with others to empower them. All right. So a few words about conversations, political conversations. Do speak your truth candidly. but without proselytizing, you know what I'm saying? Because that is very off-putting. It's not about converting people, but about helping others empower themselves, you know. And I understand that the best is storytelling. You know, it's like, you know, I share my things with you. I share my discoveries with you. I share my shamanic tools with you. But I don't sit down and lecture. You know, it's like, you know, I'm just sharing. You know, so that's, I think, one of the best ways that people will start kind of listening if you listen to them, right? Do not try to convince cultists or fanatics. Do not. They are too solid. You know, they are too solid. They're not going to change at this time. So it's going to be frustrating. It's going to be ineffective. And there's, like they say, there's no one more blind than the ones who don't want to see. So forget about it. Respect their free choice. And respect your sanity. All right. And the next thing is use your gifts, your expertise, your skills, your passion to educate and empower others. Remember, it is unified intention, response. You know, you're not going to win democracy alone. We need to unite. And we are naturally united, most of us, in that we want democracy. We don't want fascism. In the United States, we don't want dictatorship in the United States. You know, most of us don't. So we're a majority, a super majority, right? So all we need to do is unite. Unite with respect, you know, with respect to the dignity of all people. And with good intention, you know, with love, with harmony. All right? So it's a matter of sharing. You know, I'm usually not into politics, you know, because I'm a shaman and an artist. I work in creativity, perception, help, you know, that's my, but these are my tools that I'm sharing with you because I want us to give democracy a win. So what are your tools? What are your skills, your passion, your expertise, the resources you have, right? And then use them in whatever inspires you, whatever gives you delight, to give democracy a win, to help others. And that's my final share about, you know, taking action to take all our mistakes in the debate and shift them into opportunities, into growth assets for ourselves, and into a win for democracy. Okay, so let's wrap it up. Thank you for staying with me in this journey and for taking the time and gathering the courage to co-create the conditions for our leadership that helps us evolve to become the new humans for the new earth. Here are several things you can do immediately. Number one, check the links below to get the script of this journey so you can review everything I said and do the journaling and all of that. Number two, join the waiting list for my upcoming book, Creative Emergence, Your Operational Manual for the New You in the New Earth. The link is also below. And number three, check out the additional video resources with Robert Reich. You know, and if you download the video script, they are there as footnotes. And also check the video by Shaman Alberto Villoldo where he's interviewed by Emilio Ortiz about the Pachakuti. It's beautiful and gives you all the important details. All right. And also my video where I have a poem introducing the Pachakuti, which is also below. And finally, pay it forward by sharing this video with your friends. If you're still with me, I am happy that you got some goodness from this journey. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video. And until next time, thank you for being you, and for being here with me today.